very much, Jonathan Hoffman, for joining us and bringing your expertise and insights to our conversation. Now we move on to our next story. At least 40 people have been killed in Gaza, according to the territory's Hamas-run Health Ministry, as Israeli fire targeted an aid distribution area in Rafah. Medics say half of the dead were near a site operated by the U.S.-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Over 200 others were injured. The United Nations has slammed Israel's aid delivery plan, calling it a lethal distribution system. UN agencies say aid is being delivered through dangerous channels controlled by Israeli troops, cutting out long-standing humanitarian partners like the UNRWA. UNRWA's chief, Filipe Lazzarini, warned that starving people are being killed while simply trying to reach food. Israel has not commented on today's deaths, but says aid is being diverted by Hamas, a claim the militants deny. According to Gaza's health ministry, over 300 people have been killed and more than 2,600 wounded near aid sites since the new system began. The UN rights chief Volker Turk has accused Israel of weaponizing food and called for a full investigation. The Gaza war, triggered by Hamas's October 7, 2023 attack, has now killed nearly 55,000 people in the Strip, most of them being civilians. That's according to Gaza's health officials. Now we have guest Ali M. Abushbak. He's a Middle East researcher. He's joining us live from Cairo, Egypt. Thank you, Ali, for joining us today. Welcome to NewsX World. What does the attack on the aid distribution site in Rafah reveal about the current conditions for humanitarian access in Gaza?
Thank you, Osama, for having me. Let me just worth mentioning that the casualties in Gaza, it's crossing more than 60,000 Palestinians, most of them civilian. Israel's troop targeting the people who's starving, to gathering to forsake, grabbing the food and sack of flour on the ground. It's a terrible idea, and it's a horrible and terrible things. Yes, today, just now, I was talking to someone who survived from the Israelis' attack. He confirmed that they were a civilian and they were unarmed people. So when I asked them why the Israelis targeting the civilian who gathered to take a sack of flour and taking a food from the humanitarian aid, and if you're from a humanitarian zone that Israel identify it as a safe zone, as a unarmed zone to gather the people. He mentioned that all of them, they were completely civilian, and he doesn't know why the Israeli troop opened the fire toward them. And he said, we rarely got survivor from this attack. There is one thing, in my opinion, what Israel is trying to do, creating a chaos among the Palestinians. Despite there is a chaos among the Palestinians, as I mentioned the day before yesterday, there is a people killing each other to take the sack of flour from each other, and there is some militia group in Gaza. I mean, they are maybe they are fifth column. They're targeting the civilian who collecting food, and they steal it from them. So all of that because of the we can say power vacancy in Gaza. There is no ruler, there is no police, and also Israeli troop trying to kill anyone who can manage the citizen civilian, the citizen's life in Gaza. In my opinion, what is happening in Gaza nowadays, it's completely beyond the imagination. I success after that 10 days of the blackout of the internet in Gaza. I success to talk to someone else, and he confirmed that his neighborhood children, he's 3 years old, he die because of the starvation and famine. When I asked him, show me the proof, because I can't imagine 3 years old, the children he got die because of the famine and because of the starvation, and he shared the photo with me. This is honestly painful things at the humanitarian situation in Gaza. It's beyond the imagination. Meanwhile, despite these things, there is a good news coming and leaking that Benjamin Netanyahu is going to send the delegation to Qatar for there is a positive atmosphere between Hamas and Israel to find a solution and for negotiation, especially after the Iran's attack. Most of the analysts they confirmed that Israel now is going to focus on the Iranian front rather than Gaza, because Hamas is completely devastated. Despite there is a limited fighter for Hamas exist in Gaza, but they have a limited power and they have no control on the people. And we have witnessed the chaos in Gaza, the mess in Gaza. That's confirmed that Hamas it's devastated, completely devastated. And now also, in my opinion, the coming days it will be a good atmosphere. I mean, a good news for Palestinian in Gaza for at least a truce or for ceasefire for a couple of months until and unless Israel finds a solution with Iran, especially Iranians hit it's very strong. And today morning we have witnessed that the size of the destruction in Tel Aviv and the Israeli city, it was huge, honestly. So what is happening on the ground in Gaza, it's completely behind the imagination. The humanitarian situation, it's completely dire, and I can't find any excuses why they are targeting the civilian who gather to take a sack of flour or some food to survive. Today also I asked someone, he said the supplies and the vegetable in the market, there is a lack in the vegetable in the market, and if you are lucky and you have a chance to find it, it's a more expensive. It's behind, I mean, extremely expensive. No one can imagine the price of 1 kg. There is no one can have an ability to buy 1 kg of tomato or potato or any of vegetable. You can buy it by just by one, and it's incredibly the price of it. No one can manage their everyday life. Now, most of the 2 million people, they rely on the humanitarian aid. People who's working and people who save their money, they have no ability to manage their everyday lives. So you can imagine about the people who's living under the poverty line. They couldn't able to survive, and they are eating most of the day. I mean, all of their weeks, they have a dal, they have some eggplant. So situation is completely, totally dire in Gaza.
And Ali, building on that, now that the aid system is all not very stable and every day there are deaths occurring in this aid site, should international humanitarian actors like UNRWA or UN be restored to their full role, or has the aid framework become now too politicized to function effectively?
Uzuma, it's worth mentioning that the international community condemned that Israelis using the food as a war weapon, and everyone condemned that the famine in Gaza, the totally besieged for more than 2-3 months in Gaza. All the international community condemned it, and no one accepted. And there is some countries like UK and like also Canada, they imposed a sanction on Israel, and some Israelis ministry who used to always giving the statement and extremist statement against the Palestinian. International community, they should take their rules to disseminate the food, despite they are disagree with the American Israeli-backed organization, which taking the responsibility to distributing the food for the people who are suffering from the famine and the starvation. But everyone should take the action to save to save what remain from the dignity of the people in Gaza. And all for example, United Nations, they consider this faith of distributing the food. It's dehumanizing the people in Gaza. It's completely. We have showed that. We have seen the footage how the people are gathering in a humanitarian situation. They are gathering under the risk. They are gathering. I mean, mass of people. So some of them they got killed because of the crowd. This is unhuman. This is. I mean. Disrespecting the humanitarian value, especially at the end they are human, they need some food, they need some to survive, and most of them they are civilian. You can't I mean public punish the people, you can't publicly punish the people for what? Just because they are living under the rule of Hamas. So this is the policy of Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm not saying Israel, because Benjamin Netanyahu is the only responsible. Palestinian and Israel, they are seeking for the peace, and we have witnessed the day before yesterday how many Palestinian active and Israeli active participate in Paris conference for peace and for two-state solution. So we have here to take a stand with the people who are suffering from the famine and starvation. I guess international community should take an action to save the what's remain from the dignity. I mean, what's remain
Ali,
of the humanitarian value in Gaza.
Ali, thank you very much for bringing your